صباح الخير. النهاردة ان شاء الله هنعمل chapter جديد. Last time we talked about autarky and general equilibrium in case of autarky. Autarky means closed economy. In our chapter today we are going to talk about classical trade theories, which means that we are going to trade with the rest of the world. This chapter is classified into 4 main parts. Number 1 is the mercantilism, the first theory, trade theory, which is the mercantilism. Then we are going to talk about theory of absolute advantage, and then theory of comparative advantage, and finally we would like to find general equilibrium in case of classical trade theories. Okay, first, the mercantilism. According to the mercantilism, the country can be more powerful if they are going to increase their wealth. The wealth of the country is going to increase through the accumulation of gold and silver. A country can accumulate more gold and silver through 2 different means. Number 1, colonialism, which means that the country is going to control another country or to have a political power on another country. As a result, they can take resources, money from this country. And number 2, through international trade. So from the point of view of the mercantilism, they would like to encourage exports, and this is going to lead to inflow of money to the country, and discourage imports in order to prevent the country from paying money to other countries. So they would like to increase exports to be greater than imports in order to have positive flow of funds, or to increase the inflow of money to be greater than the outflow of money. This means that the government is going to intervene in the market in order to promote export and discourage import. And hence help the country to achieve favorable trade balance. Trade balance means export minus import. So favorable trade balance means to have positive trade balance, or net exports to be positive. The main criticism of the mercantilism that this can be possible only in the short run. In the short run, a country can accumulate more gold and silver, put restrictions on its export of goods, its imports of goods and services, and encourage its exports. But in the long run, this can't be happen, as maybe resources can be depleted, and we would like to import resources from abroad in order to increase production. So we have to import and pay money to other countries, and so on. The second main point, assuming static world economy. Static world economy means that each country would like to maintain as it is. So if I am an importer, I am going to be importer forever. If I am an exporter country, I am going to be exporter forever. And this actually is not going to happen in the real life. After the mercantilism, or due to the main criticism of the mercantilism, Adam Smith advocated free international trade. According to Adam Smith, who is the developer of the theory of absolute advantage, he believed that we should promote or encourage free international trade. There is no restrictions on international trade, whether exports or imports. Adam Smith advocates to the theory or the principle of laissez-faire, laissez-passer. Laissez-faire, laissez-passer means there is no government intervention. It's a French word, means no government intervention. We are going to leave the market to determine everything. Say, for example, just like a market for a commodity, the equilibrium price or the equilibrium quantity will be determined by the market forces, demand and supply forces. This is the same for international trade. Each country will export the products according to demand and supply. Each country will import a product based on demand and supply. So, with no government intervention, we can reach the equilibrium point. Also, Adam Smith has two main principles, or encourage two new ideas. Number one, specialization, and number two, division of labor. Division of labor means that we are going to divide the production process to small parts, small steps, and each individual is going to specialize is going to specialize in the production of a product in which they have an advantage. Specialization means that you are going to repeat only one task daily. So you are going to be more qualified in the production of these products. This is going to be the same for a nation. Each country will specialize in the production of a specific commodity. According to Adam Smith, country can make profit if they are going to export a product and import another one at a lower price or higher quality compared to their internal market. So according to Adam Smith, I am going to export a product and import another. This imported product can be imported at a lower price than my domestic production for this product, or at a higher quality than my domestic production of this product. According to Adam Smith, wealth of nation is determined by the amount of goods and services produced and consumed by its citizens. This means that according to mercantilism, the wealth of nation is determined by gold and silver, but according to Adam Smith, wealth of nation is determined by quantity of goods and services consumed. So we are not going to put any restrictions on imports, and this is going to affect the wealth of the country. This is going to decrease the wealth of the country. Returning back to our 7 assumptions in case of general equilibrium, in case of autarky, Adam Smith adds 5 more assumptions so that in case of classical trade theory, the total number of assumptions of this theory are 12 assumptions, 7 plus 5. Just to recap the 7 main assumptions, number 1, we have 2 countries, each one of them produces 2 commodities. Number 2, rational behavior. Number 3, no money illusion. Number 4, perfect competition prevails in both markets. Number 5, fixed resources and technology. And number 6, resources can move from one industry to another. And finally, number 7, community indifference curve. Now we are going to add 5 more assumptions. So number 8, resources can't move between countries. This like an addition to number 6. Number 6, we can move resources from one industry to another, and here we said that, but we cannot move it from one country to another. Number 9, there is no trade barriers. Trade barriers can be tariff, like taxes on imported products, or quota, like limited number of units, or non-tariff barriers such as quality assurance or specific specifications in the products. Okay, so according to Adam Smith, there is no trade barriers, no tariff, no quota, no specifications. Number 10, exports must pay for imports, which means that we are going to export goods and services in order to get money. This money will be used in order to import the products from abroad, not to accumulate gold and silver. Number 11, labor is the only relevant factor of production, and here we said only relevant, not only factor. Only relevant means the most important factor. Only relevant is the point of our consideration. We are going to focus only on labor, but we are going to use labor, capital, land, etc. But focusing, or the most important one for us, is labor. So its important is based on the price of the product will be determined by the wage multiplied by number of hours required to produce a single unit of the commodity. Returning back to assumption number 3, which is no money illusion. As we said in this assumption, we have to differentiate between nominal and relative price. Nominal price of a commodity, which is PS, will be calculated as wage rate in country A multiplied by number of hours required to produce a single unit of soybeans in country A. So say for example we would like to produce a single unit of soybeans, and we are going to take 3 hours in order to produce this unit. So price of soybeans will be the wage rate multiplied by 3. So if the wage rate is 10, so price of soybeans will be 30. The same for textile. Price of textile is calculated as wage rate in country A multiplied by number of hours required to produce a single unit of textile in country A. Say for example, country A takes 6 hours in order to produce a single unit of textile. So as wage rate is 10, so the nominal price of textile in country A will be 60. Assumption number 12. Production exhibits constant returns to scale between labor and output. What's meant by returns to scale? Returns to scale means the long-run relationship between input and output. We have 3 different cases in case of returns to scale: increasing returns to scale, constant returns to scale, and decreasing returns to scale. Okay, so in of increasing returns to scale if you are going to increase labor by 10%. Output or production must increase by more than 10%. أي حاجة بقى 15, 12, 30, anything more than 10%. This is increasing returns to scale. In case of constant returns to scale, if you are going to increase labor by 10%, output will increase by 10%. So the same percentage or equiproportionate change. 10% and 10% equal to each other. In case of decreasing returns to scale, if you are going to increase labor by 10%, output will increase by less than 10%. 9, 8, 7. This is decreasing returns to scale. According to our assumption, production, according to Adam Smith, follows constant returns to scale, which means that if input increases by 10%, output will increase by 10% as well. What is the importance of this assumption? This assumption means that we are going to use straight line PPF in case of classical model. As we said in assumption number 4, that we have two different shapes of PPF, straight line PPF and concave PPF. So according to this assumption, we are going to assume that the PPF is going to follow the straight line PPF. Here is our example. This is the PPF for country A and country B. And later we are going to know how to draw the PPF using numbers just like the graph in the figure. What's meant by absolute advantage? As we said, this theory is known as theory of absolute advantage, or theory advocated by Adam Smith is known as absolute advantage. What's meant by absolute advantage? Absolute advantage is the ability of a country to produce a good using fewer productive inputs than is possible anywhere else in the world. طبعا احنا الورلد بتاعنا consists of two countries A and B. So we would like to produce using fewer resources or increase the number of units than our competitors. So we can calculate a comparative advantage in two different cases. We are going to start now with the first case, which is number of hours per unit. This schedule shows that we have two countries A and B. Country A produces soybeans and textile. Country A takes 3 hours in order to produce a unit of soybeans and 6 hours in order to produce a unit of textile. And country B takes 12 hours in order to produce a unit of soybeans and 4 hours in order to produce a unit of textile. According to Adam Smith, country will specialize in the production of the commodity in which they have an advantage. This means country A, and the world consists of A and B. Each one of them initially produces soybeans and textile. Now we would like country A to specialize in the production of only one commodity and produce nothing from the other one. and country B to specialize in the other commodity and produce nothing from the other commodity. How can we determine which country will specialize in soybeans and which in textile? Now we would like to compare between soybeans in country A and in country B. Country A takes 3 hours to produce a unit of soybeans, while country B takes 12 hours in order to produce a unit of soybeans. So it's better for country A to specialize in the production of soybeans. As it takes lower number of hours. So country A has an absolute advantage in the production of soybeans. As a result, country A will specialize in the production of soybeans. We are going to do the same for textile. We are going to compare between number of hours required to produce a single unit of textile in country A and B. Country A takes 6 hours to produce a single unit of textile, while country B takes only 4 hours. So it's better for country B to specialize in the production of textile. Country B has an absolute advantage in the production of textile. This means that country A will specialize in soybeans and country B will specialize in textile. Before specialization, country A takes 3 hours in order to produce only 1 unit. So number of units produced from soybeans is 1. With respect to country B, it takes 12 hours in order to produce only 1 unit of soybeans. So number of units produced of soybeans is 1. With respect to textile in country A, it takes 6 hours to produce only 1 unit. And in country B, 4 hours to produce only 1 unit. So this is number of units before specialization. So before specialization, it is 1, 1, 1, 1. Now we are going to specialize in the production of soybeans and textile and see what's going to be the production level after specialization. Production after specialization. As we said that country A will specialize in the production of soybeans. Country A, total number of hours people are going to work or to produce in country A is 9 hours, which is a summation of 3 and 6. Now we are going to use the 9 hours in order to produce soybeans only. We are going to produce single unit in 3 hours. So we can produce 3 units of soybeans and 0 textile. We are going to produce 3 units of soybeans and 0 textile. With respect to country B, people in country B are working for 16 hours. They are going to use the 16 hours in order to produce textile only. They produce a unit in 4 hours. So in 16 hours they can produce 4 units. So after specialization, country B will produce 0 soybeans and 4 textile. So this is production or number of units after specialization. So what's the world gain from specialization and production? What is the benefit countries are going to get from specializing in the production of only one commodity? In order to calculate world gain, we have to compare after minus before. So before specialization, as we said, we are going to produce only 1 unit. After specialization, country A will produce 3 units. So after minus before, يبقى 3 minus 1, it's positive 2. After specialization, we are going to produce 0 textile. Before, we produced only 1 unit. يبقى after minus before, يبقى 0 minus 1, it's negative 1. This is for country A. With respect to country B, before specialization, we produced only 1 unit. After specialization, we are not going to produce soybeans. So it is 0 minus 1, it's negative 1. After specialization, we are going to produce 4 units of textile. Before specialization, we produced only 1 unit. So it's after minus before, 4 minus 1, it's positive 3. If you would like to calculate the total world gain of soybeans and the total world gain of textile, we are going to add the column. With respect to soybeans, positive 2 minus 1, it's positive 1. And with respect to textile, negative 1 plus 3 is positive 2. So world production of soybeans is going to increase by 1, and of textile it's going to increase by 2. Another example. This is a problem, and you are given the number of hours required to produce a single unit of beef and chips for 2 different countries, United States and Germany, required to identify which country has an absolute advantage in the production of B, which is beef, and which in the production of C, which is chips. Number 2, what's the level of production after specialization? And number 3, calculate the world gain from trade. لو سمحتوا حاولوا ان انتوا تحلوها لوحدكم الاول قبل ما تشوفوا الحل. Okay, with respect to number 1, which country has an absolute advantage in the production of beef and which in chips? As we said, we have to compare the number of hours required to produce beef in the 2 countries. So country A, United States, takes only 2 hours to produce beef while Germany 8 hours. This means that United States has an absolute advantage in the production of beef. So United States will specialize in the production of beef. And the same for chips. United States takes 3 hours in order to produce a single unit of chips, while Germany takes only 1 hour to produce a single unit of chips. So it's better for Germany to specialize in the production of chips. As a result, United States will specialize in the production of beef, and Germany will specialize in the production of chips. This is number A. Number B. What is the level of production after specialization? With respect to country A, they are going to work 5 hours. They are going to specialize in the production of beef. They produce a unit in 2 hours. So in 5 hours they can produce 2.5 units, which is 5 divided by 2, and 0 chips. With respect to Germany, people work for 9 hours. They are going to specialize in the production of chips. They produce a unit in hour, so they can produce 9 units, 9 divided by 1, and 0 beef. So this is production after specialization. Point number C. Calculate the gain from trade. As we said before, gain from trade is calculated as after minus before. After trade, the United States will specialize in the production of beef, so they are going to produce 2.5 units. Before trade, the country produces only 1 unit. So it's after minus before. 2.5 minus 1, it's 1.5. In case of chips, they are not going to produce any chips, so the production is 0. Before trade, they produce only 1 unit. So it is 0 minus 1, it's negative 1. This is for country in the United States. With respect to Germany, they are not going to produce beef after specialization, so it is 0. Before specialization, they produce only 1 unit, so it is 0 minus 1, it's negative 1. With respect to chips, after specialization, they are going to produce 9 units, and before specialization, they produce only 1 unit. So it's 9 minus 1, it's 8. Now we would like to calculate the total world gain from specialization. So we have to add the column. Total world gain from beef. It's 1.5 minus 1, so world gain is 0.5. Total world gain of chips. It's negative 1 plus 8, so world production is going to increase by 7. From this we can conclude that due to specialization, world production of beef is going to increase by 0.5, while world production of chips is going to increase by 7.